Hey guys, this is Chetan Bhavani for Gizmo Times and you're watching the comparison between the Realme 1 and the ASUS ZenFone Max Pro M1. After the entry of Realme 1 into the market, there's quite a lot of competition now seen, and especially between these three phones, the Realme 1, the ZenFone Max Pro as well as the Xiaomi Redmi Note 5 Pro. In the other video, you've already watched the comparison with the Redmi Note 5 Pro. So here are the differences between the Realme 1 and the ASUS ZenFone Max Pro M1. Firstly, with the design itself, there's quite a lot of difference because the Realme 1 comes with a glass plus fiber combination on the back. The diamond cut back looks very good when compared to the metal body on the ASUS ZenFone Max Pro, which is not a fully metal one. The top and the bottom areas of that is actually plastic because of the fact that it needs that antenna reception. The phones looked very different, but the way you can hold them, the comfort level is all the same because both of them have the same 6-inch Full HD Plus display with the 1920x1080 pixels of screen resolution. Now getting internally, the Realme 1 comes with the MediaTek Helio P60, which was the same chipset that powered the OPPO F7. And so you should surely know that this chipset has a lot to offer in terms of not just the specs but also with the performance. It's an octa-core 2GHz chipset versus the Qualcomm Snapdragon 636 that powers the ASUS ZenFone Max Pro, and that's an octa-core 1.8 GHz chipset. And with the benchmark scores, easily the Helio P60 would lead over the Snapdragon 636. With the interface, some of you might be actually happy with the fact that the ASUS ZenFone Max Pro finally comes with the stock Android and not the Zen UI. And that is why you would expect the performance to be always good and snappy. On the other side, the OPPO's Realme 1 comes with the ColorOS 5.0 based on Android Oreo. Both of them are running the same OS version, but the interface differs a lot. There are some extra features, some extra applications given on the Realme 1, though some of those apps might also seem forced ones which you actually didn't want to see in the smartphone, but that's how the custom interfaces work. The next difference will be with the cameras, where again the ZenFone Max Pro, just like the Xiaomi Redmi Note 5 Pro, might take a lead over the Realme 1 because it has a dual lens camera combination with a 13MP plus 5MP combination when compared to the single 13MP camera on the Realme 1. Also, it's a very good camera that you see on the ZenFone Max Pro because after a few improvements done on the software side, now the captures seem to be very good with the color reproduction. Also, the portrait mode has been done better now, and what OPPO uses on the Realme 1 is just the software bokeh because it doesn't offer a second camera for the depth recognition and the blur. On the front, both the phones offer an 8MP camera for the selfies. But clearly, the selfie camera is better on the Realme 1 thanks to the AI beautification done, and also thanks to how the software works to give the selfies better when compared to that on this ASUS ZenFone Max Pro. With the battery, there's no price to guess which one actually wins because the ASUS ZenFone Max Pro has a 5000 mAh battery, which is quite a good one when compared to the 3400 mAh battery on the Realme 1. Not just the capacity but also with the battery life. Thanks to how well the management of battery is done by the Snapdragon 636, the ZenFone Max Pro actually lasts easily more than the Realme 1 in the real usage. And that is not just with the standby but also while playing games, while watching videos, and while for the long-term usage you can easily see that ZenFone Max Pro has a much better battery when compared to the Realme 1. One point where the Redmi Note 5 Pro had lagged behind these two is the fact that it had a hybrid SIM slot. But these two phones here that we are comparing, the Realme 1 and the ASUS ZenFone Max Pro, both come with a dedicated microSD card slot, which is a good thing. Also, both the phones support 4G on their two slots, and that is where there's a similarity between these two phones. On the security part, you see that the ASUS ZenFone Max Pro has a fingerprint sensor that is present on the back of the phone, and that is not present on the Realme 1. Again, a disappointment just similar to how we had on the Redmi Note 5 Pro's comparison, but then that's what is offered here, and there's face recognition or the face unlock that is present on both the phones, but the ZenFone Max Pro has an advantage of that fingerprint sensor on the back. In the end, when it boils down to the pricing, the Realme 1 actually feels a bit more affordable when compared to the ASUS ZenFone Max Pro because the pricing is almost the same. But with the fact that you get 6GB RAM and 128GB storage under 15,000 is what makes the Realme 1 a winner over the ASUS ZenFone Max Pro. But then considering a few options such as the battery life and also the rear camera combination, the ZenFone Max Pro is a better choice. In the end, if you have to again look at the design, also the selfie camera, you'll have to end up with the Realme 1. So there's a few point comparison where some of the points are being won by the Realme 1 and some are led by the ASUS ZenFone Max Pro. So I hope you like this comparison. Do let me know if you have any other questions and subscribe to Gizmo Times for more. Thank you for watching and see you in our next video.